John Moxley is now a part of AEW. My name's Chase,
Hey, I'm Jonko.
and this is the first ever episode of Smart Week.
Hell yeah. Do it.
So we are reviewing Double or Nothing, the first ever AEW pay-per-view. Holy shit, dude.
That was
like,
good.
oh
was good.
God. So we actually did, we didn't get a chance to do a predictions video because of the way that our work schedules worked out, but we did still do predictions. And
I lost horribly.
and Jonko lost.
I lost horribly.
I wouldn't say horribly. It was what, 3, 2, and
It
1?
took me 4 matches to get a point. No matter what the final score was, I lost horribly.
Okay, so we actually all guessed incorrectly on like half the freaking cards. So
I mean, it's expected, though. They
That's
didn't really
cool.
have anything except for, being the elite to go off of and their random little pop-ups. So you didn't have a month, you didn't have weeks of TV to base anything off of.
that's true. That's
So,
true. But I think that's kind of what made this fun.
Yeah, no, it is. 100%. That, and it feels good to be a wrestling fan again.
Oh my God, definitely.
Feels so good.
Real quick, a nice little shout out to our third man, who unfortunately is very sick and could not be here with us. But he's also the winner of our predictions. So shout out to Ethan. Ethan, great job. We have both avoided a fate worse than death, and that is watching an episode of Monday Night Raw and reviewing it like you actually liked it.
Yep. That's going to be me this week, guys.
All
It's gonna be
right.
Awesome.
But dude, getting down to business here, fucking the buy-in, the pre-show.
I want to go before that. I sent you guys a video in our little group chat. That before the bell was a fantastic hype package for the entire show. Did you ever go back and watch all of that?
We started to watch it like on
Yeah,
the way
on the
to
way
there,
there.
but it was
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
listening to it. I didn't actually get to see any of it.
It's worth going back and watching. If you guys out there haven't seen it, it's fantastic. This table is crickety. And I'm just leaning on it too hard.
Maybe it is a
all
Walmart
good.
table
It's all good.
behind the scenes.
So yeah, buy-in. Let's do it.
Dude, the buy-in. So they started off. We assumed that there was going to be some video packages, somebody talking a little bit about the card before the Battle Royal started, but they kicked it off strong with the Battle Royal. MJF starting off in the ring.
My favorite wrestler.
Oh my goodness, the dude is gonna be a star. Like, despite like the fact that he's constantly telling you he's gonna be a star, like he's gonna be huge.
You gotta put that shit out into the universe, man. You gotta talk it into existence.
The interview with Chris Van Vliet,
Mhm.
ake CVV.
Yeah.
Don't you fucking do that.
Yeah, that was great. That was so good.
Ah,
Van Vliet had a lot of good interviews, like over Starcast.
that's true. Yeah, he did a really good one with Joey Janela as well.
Yeah, and he did a lot of the post show coverage too. He had interviews up with Dustin. Yeah, he had a good interview with Cody beforehand too.
I'm pretty sure he did
Like
one
a week
afterward
ago.
as well.
Yeah, he did.
And with Tony Khan, he had one right
Yep.
before with Tony Khan.
Yep. And
Man.
he had a post show with Dustin. That was really good.
Man,
Yeah.
really, you guys should be listening to Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah,
but-
really.
but
Why
since you're
the
here-
hell are you on our channel? Jeez. But like and subscribe. Hey, what's up?
Hey, so the Battle Royal, dude. So I got to be totally honest. Like, there was a couple of really cool things before everybody got in the ring, but I feel like the action didn't really pick up until everybody was there. It was just sort of like buying time for everybody to get out.
It didn't start until Luchasaurus got there.
Luchasaurus is fucking impressive. Like,
He's great, dude.
He's on my list now. I got to be honest. I hadn't seen anything with Luchasaurus in it before, but that dude is massive. His mask is super cool, and he chokeslams people like it ain't nobody's fucking business.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was great. I loved Luchasaurus. It's one of the highlights for me, like of the whole night.
Man, yeah, dude. Especially the chokeslam through the table, Joey Janela.
Oh yeah, dude.
So apparently, I don't know if you saw, but
He
a lot of
died?
people he died. So people thought he was legitimately, like, I guess from watching in the arena, it looked like he actually like went head first. Whereas you know we thought it at first, and then when they showed the replay, it was like, oh, he actually hit his shoulders. Okay, he's good.
We thought he died. And it's Joe Janela. He's gonna make you think he died every show, right? That's
yeah,
like
I mean
one of the
his
requirements.
ass was over his face when he hit the ground on that table. So
Yeah.
how could you not know?
What a bump, man. Yeah, the action really, to me, seemed to pick up. I mean, with any battle royal, you get this, but once they get down to the last four, that's when it really starts picking up. And the stories start actually getting told. Um, I I feel like it's probably partially just because it's a new promotion. You know, a lot of these names just who the hell were they?
That's true.
It's not bagging. I'm a guy who doesn't watch a lot of indies, a lot, especially smaller indies. So a lot of the names, the only ones I knew were really from the BTE episodes.
To be totally honest, like there were a couple wrestlers I did not know who they were at all. I had heard of Luchasaurus, but the extent of his fame to me was the fact that CM Punk retweeted about Luchasaurus, like that's a real guy. Like, and then Private Party, didn't know they were Private Party. Like they said their names individually, they didn't introduce them together, at least not from what I heard. So when they introduced them, I was like, who the fuck are these dudes? Like,
they're great though.
But we did get the really cool spot with Orange Cassidy, doing like the leg kicks to Tommy Dreamer, and then hitting him with the down low super kick. That was incredible, and then he was just out, so it didn't really like make the whole thing feel goofy, but just enough to get a laugh and then get him out.
It was good. It was good for the pacing. It was really good to have that little laugh moment, that little relaxation, and then you got right back into it, wasn't it? Right after that Jimmy Havoc got out the staple gun.
Stapled him in the dick. Man, let me tell you.
My gosh.
I don't know if you got to talk to somebody about doing that before you get in the ring or what, but like, how do you bring that conversation up? Like, hey, so here's what I really want to do. I'm going to bring a staple gun into the ring, and ideally what I'd like to do is get one of these little shards of metal lodged in your testicles. Is what I'd really like to do.
Yeah. I feel like, realistically, I kind of want to think that he only had maybe one or two staples in that staple gun, because I know that, you know, right off the bat, Joey Janela had a cigarette stapled to his head.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot all about that.
But after that, I just don't see, I mean, given they are crazy people, so it's very possible. But why? Why? What is the benefit of just going around stapling people, other than very, very cheap shock value?
I mean, that's literally what it is. And I'll be totally honest, like in my very limited like backyard wrestling experience, staples really don't hurt that bad. Staples, thumbtacks, things like that, they generally hurt more being pulled out than they do going in.
Fair.
So I don't think it would be that bad. I also don't think he actually like got his testicles.
Oh, no.
I'm sure you could accidentally get somebody's testicles doing that, but I'm sure it was more like, you know, he's got baggy pants on, just hit the pants. And then leave it be.
Plus, there's not a clamp on the backside, so it's just like shoot
jagged metal.
Just
but I do have a couple of notes here. Dude, Jungle Boy hitting Joey Janela with the Hurricane Rana, and Joey Janela face planting like it was a DDT.
Oh yeah,
holy shit!
Didn't someone say that was like one of his signature spots?
So they called it something, but I couldn't hear it because we were all like, "Oh!"
was it the budget Maranello calling it?
No. Oh, I don't know who actually said the name. I just remember that like when they were saying it, I could tell they were naming it something, but we all popped so fucking hard for it that there was no way to distinguish what the TV was telling us.
It looked gross. But speaking of, I really didn't like. I liked Excalibur. I liked Jim Ross. A third dude.
What is it? Alex Marvez. His last name is definitely Marvez.
Alex Marnello. He was trying way too hard. He stopped just short of yelling "Mamma Mia."
Yeah. So what's funny is I actually planned toward the end of the video to be like, so what's one thing you liked and what's thing you didn't like? And then after you went, I was going to talk about mine, and my thing I didn't like was actually going to be Alex Marvez.
Oops. Sorry, bud.
Oops. It's fine. I didn't like him. We'll throw it out there now. I did not care for Alex Marvez.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. It was definitely one of the lowlights. And I mean, I'm sure he's probably good. You could tell. I mean, since we're here, why not talk about the announce team? You could tell that they hadn't really worked together before. I mean, no one had their lanes that they were staying in.
Yeah,
kind of stepping on each other constantly.
I definitely think that it'll get better with time.
For sure.
Even Excalibur later on makes a couple of really weird calls, but we'll get into that.
Excalibur sounded high.
But so I got a couple other notes here. We've
Yeah.
already talked about Luchasaurus looking impressive as shit. Awesome. Sean Spears, dude, came out looking to be in incredible shape. And I got to be honest, the green contacts, I thought they worked well.
Look,
Like
it's good look.
it threw me off at first, but I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I get it.
Solid ring attire. And I mean, he's one of those guys. I mean, he was definitely underutilized. Everyone knew it. He knew it. We knew it. It was nice to see him on a bigger stage, and it was nice to see the reaction to him. I know that everyone basically is a fan of Ty Dillinger, but seeing Sean Spears pull up in AEW after not seeing him on TV for forever was kind of cool. And it always, I even made the comment last night. I bet it feels really good for him to know that people still give a shit.
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
after being gone for that long and not being seen, and people had just popped like crazy for him.
Dude,
It was
the pop in the arena was insane. And
Yeah.
not only that, but then the first exchange he had was with MJF, which was a feud that's already sort of been teased a little bit through social media. So when he got in the ring, MJF hits him, does the fucking 10, and then flips him off. But then, Ty hits him back and does the exact same thing, and the crowd went nuts for that too. So I thought that was really, really cool.
MJF did that with a lot of people when they entered the ring.
And I think that was good exposure for him.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
it was sort of their way of saying, like, hey, this guy can work with everybody. It's just his character is so universal. Like, none of us are rich, so of course we don't like that rich douchebag.
Well, I mean,
But in reality, we love that rich douchebag. He's fucking incredible.
what was his phrase he used? It was the Globo Gym phrase. I'm better than you, and you know it.
Yeah.
Like that sums up his character. That 100% sums up his character. And he's one of the guys who he's kind of old school with it. He's in character anytime he's on any sort of media.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Lovely. And
Even-
I love that so much.
Even walking around StarCast, like, not only was he in character, but he forced other people to be in character. They were releasing videos all throughout the weekend where he would pop up somewhere, be talking shit to people, and then StarCast security would show up and escort him out, sometimes physically, like picking him up and making him leave. Because that was sort of the running gag going on. So I love that he has this, like, refusal to break kayfabe. I think that's a really nice touch. I think it's part of what's getting him over so well.
That's been missing. Something that's been missing in wrestling for a long time now. Just that dedication to the character. And
Definitely.
I popped to see it.
Also,
It's
fuck
great.
that scarf. I don't know what it is about
It's
that
a Burberry
scarf, but it's like, wow, what a douchebag. So then we get all the way to number 21. Everything goes silent, and then you start hearing the music, and then the horses pop up on the Trons,
The world's worst theme song.
and out comes Adam Page. Dude, fuck a theme song. I am so stoked that Adam Page was in this match.
Yeah, I was too.
For many reasons. Because he was my pick.
Yeah. So I thought that they were going to have some kind of special spot, kind of like, John Cena at WrestleMania, where he didn't have a scheduled match. But I mean, the writing on the wall said that he was going to be number 21, and it's fair, and I'm not mad at it, even though I didn't think he was going to be in the match at all. Whatever.
I was super excited. I will say at the end, they did a really good job of teasing 2 or 3 different times that MJF was going to win the match.
Yeah.
They did the spot first where MJF, rolled out of the ring and sort of hid by the apron. So that sort of plants a seed in your mind, like, oh, he's going to show up and steal this at the end. And then, he actually does it, and then they kind of swerved you again. Hangman does go over the rope, but hangs on and gets back in, and ends up winning. So Hangman is officially challenging for the AEW title. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited about that. I got to be honest, like,
for him.
In today's, like, age of wrestling, Hangman Page is probably my favorite wrestler.
Yeah. The only person I would put up on his level, as far as just overall total package, is probably Adam Cole.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's
And
definitely up there.
Really, a little fun history lesson for you guys. First time I ever saw either of them was that weekend that they both joined the Bullet Club, and it had nothing to do with them doing that. It just happened to be the pay-per-view I bought for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, that was both of our first
Yeah.
Ring of Honor pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I had seen some of their older stuff, but when I decided to start watching outside of WWE, when WWE was first like going to shit, I was like, all right, I'm done with this. And we kind of had that same mentality at the same time, so we decided to watch that pay-per-view. And the Super Kick Party changed our fucking lives, guys.
It did. It did.
Oh my goodness.
It did. And I remember, was that the night that Adam Page just like destroyed his leg?
Yeah, dude.
Against,
So
one of the Briscoes?
yeah, he fucking did the his
remember what it's
finisher.
called.
What was
What
it
it's
called?
called.
The rite of passage.
Yeah,
Rite
yeah.
of passage through the table.
The table split and gashed his leg open.
Which that was another cool thing. Do you remember what they called it last night? Because they changed the name of it.
Deadeye.
The Deadeye. Okay, cool.
I think it was the
Which is a
Deadeye.
great name, dude.
Yeah,
Shout out to
fits the
Red Dead
character.
Redemption. That's totally a video game reference. I don't know if
Yeah.
you played RDR too.
I mean, that's just Old West terminology in general.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take it as a video game reference.
That's fine. I mean, take it how you will. I mean,
Man,
that's a video game about the Old West. So
true.
It's a thing.
So next up, dude, the only other match on the buy-in, Sammy Guevara versus Kip Sabian. Dude, really, really freaking solid match. I didn't know
It's very
anything about Kip Sabian going into this, but holy shit, Kip Sabian is awesome.
Yeah. I really liked his finisher. I know that we're fast forwarding to talk about that.
He
but
did the finisher?
Yeah.
Did he win? Did he win this?
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy. I picked him too.
Yeah. But that Deathly Hollows Part 1 looks fantastic. He had a lot of really cool moves through the match. I remember specifically he carried most of that match. Obviously, there was that one spot that it was actually Guevara that was the one delivering it, where they did the suplex off the apron. No, they rolled out of the ring and fell and landed
so it
on
was
their
like
feet
a-
and did the suplex. on
Yeah,
the
it was
ground.
crazy. It was like three
pretty
full
wild.
flips with two people still connected. That's actually one of the notes that I took is I just called it suplex spot because what else can you possibly
Yeah.
call that?
It was pretty cool.
It was insane. Another one that I really wanted to note out, there were two things in specific that Sabian did that I thought were just fucking incredible. The first one, toward the start of the match, he had Guevara in like just a hammerlock just from behind.
Right.
And then he like jumped over him and then did a head scissors. And I was just like,
Oh yeah.
you can do that with Earth's gravity?
Dude is pretty impressive.
Oh my God. And then the other one was, I don't even know what you would call it, but he like locked the arm in a hammerlock and then did a half crab as well. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And was just bending the shit out of Sammy Guevara. And I was like, man, if he taps here, I get it. Like, I hope. Man.
Yeah. It was a good match. It was a surprisingly good match. I wasn't expecting it to be that level of quality. I mean, we're all programmed with that whole pre-show matches don't matter mentality.
That's true.
So,
oh my God.
like, I wasn't expecting much out of the pre-show, but they actually used it to say, hey, here's what you can expect from AEW. Here's a reason to buy it. This is the kind of stuff you're going to get. And I'm all for it. If they're going to make pre-shows like that, I'm going to watch every one of them and not feel bad about it.
So to be totally honest, I think they kind of have to just because their
Yeah.
pay-per-views are $50. Like, give them something that's like, shit, I gotta watch this show now. And I think the Battle Royal and the Sammy Guevara Kip Sabian match definitely helped do that.
I would agree.
So next up, they gave us a backstage cut to JR walking up to coming out, being announced, and sitting at the table. But I gotta be totally honest, man. Like, JR is looking super healthy, all things considered. That dude has had a rough life over the past 5 or 6 years. And at one point, like, he sort of looked like, and God forbid, I'm not wishing this to happen, but he sort of looked like he was on his way out. He's getting really thin, looking kind of sickly. But he's definitely put some weight back on. He's looking nice and healthy. And
That's healthy weight, yeah.
Good. I'm very glad to hear that.
He's been putting in the work. Like, you hear him talking about it from time to time. I listen to his podcast still. It's interesting to hear him talk. I think I heard him on, what is it, Busted Open? Kind
I
of
think he
chatting
was
about
on
his
Busted
health.
Open, yeah.
And talking about how, I mean, realistically, and I mean, your wife passes. gonna do some things to you. So,
That's true. That would suck.
So he had a rough go at it, and one of the reasons why he was down for doing the AEW thing is because he was like, yeah, I think it is about time for me to get back to it. And thank goodness he did. I think he did a really good job last night.
I loved it. I loved hearing him. There were times where he got so excited about the match, especially around the Cody or in the Cody match and the Kenny Jericho match, and I was just like, thank God he's there.
Yeah.
Because he definitely brought a special touch to every single match that he was calling. So next up on the card, dude, SCU versus the Strong Hearts. Fuck, dude. Didn't know I liked 6-man tag matches. It's going to be a tag match, player.
Hey, 6-man tag matches are good when all 6 people are really good and it's, they're trying to make it something and it's not just a pastime.
Yeah, that's true, and there was definitely some meaning behind it. And I also think they did a really good job of not making it a 6-man tag match where one person is clearly the star of the match. Everybody was constantly tagging out. There was a lot of teamwork going on, a lot of different team interaction. Dude, some really, really crazy moments. It was just a very physical match, dude. Like, we all know it's wrestling. Wrestling is fake. Surprise. But when you can go above and beyond to make it look super real, like that's when the shit really matters.
Yeah.
Couple of spots that I have here. I do have notes. Sorry, guys. It was a long show. Just want to make sure I don't skip anything. Kaz did a really good. If you remember, he threw Lindemann in the corner and ran up, did sort of like a springboard while still holding the ropes, and then came back down and hit him with like a
missile
like a real close drop kick. Yeah, and that shit looked so nasty.
What does he call it? The shotgun or the shotgun
like
drop kick or something?
The gun packet is what it's. That's what it's called in like wrestling games. I don't know what it's actually called, but I wrote down gun packet drop kick.
Seems legit.
SEMA drop kicking the knee of Scorpio Sky, and Scorpio Sky flipping like the fucking world just got kicked out from underneath him.
Yeah.
So
I'm more and more impressed with Scorpio every time I watch him. Every time I watch him, I get a little more stoked on him.
I agree, and I think that he 100%. I don't want to call it luck because he's definitely put in the work, but like, how fucking great is it that he found Kaz and Daniels to like partner up with and create this incredible group?
Yeah.
Because Kaz and Daniels at this point have nothing to prove. They haven't needed to in the past. I'd say probably 10 years.
Well, it started out as a joke heel gimmick, right?
Yeah. This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Now, like, people are stoked to call their towns shit.
Yeah. Dude, they chanted it with them.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Yeah. I mean, they got it over. They got it over. And now they're just riding the wave. It's beautiful. So stoked for those guys.
Super awesome. And then, like, they've gotten so much focus on BTE and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to be totally honest here. I did not think that they were going to win this one.
I don't think anyone did. Or at least out of us, I don't think any of the three of us did. We all picked Strong Hearts to win.
Yeah, and I, honestly, the reason being behind it, and I think we all shared this, is like they mentioned, especially when they said this, when Strong Hearts were coming out, I was like, oh, they're definitely fucking winning. But when they come out, the announcers made sure to call out the fact that these were the trainers of OWE. Like, these three guys trained all the other newer wrestlers. And I was like, what better way to put over how good these OWE guys are than have their trainers win this match against SCU? But ultimately, by the end, I really don't think it mattered.
Well, I go back to what I was saying about the pre-show. Coming from watching WWE programming, you kind of get, programmed to think a certain way. And in WWE logic, if you lose, you're not getting put over, you're not getting any shine. Because the way their matches are booked, that's kind of how it goes. And you kind of have to forget everything you know about WWE to really enjoy that show last night. To fully enjoy it. You can still enjoy it a little bit without, but to fully just appreciate everything that was going on. Like, SCU did put those guys over. They got in a lot of shit, and they looked like $1 million fucking bucks. Lindemann, I thought, was the MVP of the match the more I thought about it.
Yeah, and what's funny is when he was coming out, I made the comment of like, this guy looks like he does not belong.
Yeah, but even past that, like he didn't do anything insane really. But anytime anything was being done that was insane, he was usually involved in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, either on the receiving end or he was deadlift German suplexing the shit out of SCU.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
those things were beautiful.
That is probably the prettiest German suplex that I've ever seen, and he was just knocking them out of the park. And these are like, 200, 250-pound guys, and he's just like, it's no problem. Whatever, Lindemann, you're a freak. I get it.
It's insane. Thank you for that.
Holy
shit.
Then SCU with the win, dude.
Yeah.
I think it was overall a nice touch, even though it's not what we were expecting. Everybody definitely still got put over. It was one of those things where at the end, they teased the finish so many times, like anybody could win this, and it doesn't matter. Everybody looks great coming out of this, and that is what good wrestling should do.
Yeah.
Not, hey, we're gonna have these 7 guys come out here, kick the shit out of each other, and then Brock Lesnar's gonna win. I don't know what company would do that, but it's probably out there somewhere.
Yeah,
maybe.
Probably so.
Next up, sad to admit that I lost this, but not sad about the match at all. Britt Baker versus Kylie Ray versus Nyla Rose, and everybody gets down to the ring, and then all of a sudden Brandy comes out.
Yeah.
And she's in wrestling gear.
Yeah.
So we're all sitting there, we're talking, and we're like, she's about to put herself in this match. And she very much sold the fact that she was going to be a 4th person in this match.
Yep.
And she's cutting this promo, and she's talking about, when I said that all of you guys had a good chance of winning, I meant it. But what I want to do is add something to make this match really awesome. And it didn't click in any of our brains. None of us. We were all like, who's coming out? Up on the screen, dude.
Yep.
Awesome Kong.
Yep.
I physically jumped up out of my fucking seat. So excited. Oh my God, dude. It's so good to see Kong back. She had she basically started the fucking women's division at TNA.
Yeah.
And then she got basically just shit on in WWE. Very short run. She ended up getting pregnant and had to take time off. And after that, they just didn't give a shit, which is a real bummer because she's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So very cool to see her back, and I think she added a really nice element to the match, because otherwise, it was just going to be like, Britt Baker and Kylie Ray essentially trying to overcome this giant in Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
But now you've got 2 giants.
Yeah, and I think that's why they did it. I think, how long has Nyla Rose been wrestling? 'Cause I'm not going to sit here and say that she was doo-doo or anything like that, but it seemed like she was still a little newer.
I honestly am not sure.
So I feel like they may have put Awesome Kong in there, because why the hell not? If you can put Awesome Kong in the match, put Awesome Kong in the fucking match. But on top of that, it gives someone who is a monster, who is a little on the greener side, someone safe that they can work with.
Yeah.
Someone extremely safe that's been around a long time that can take some of the punishment.
I think it also helps to kind of break the mold of everyone in the match focuses on the big person until the big person's out.
Yeah.
Like it made sense that Kong went after Nyla, so then all of a sudden you can have Britt Baker and Kylie Ray fighting in the ring, and then when one of the monsters gets back in the ring, they may do a lot of dominating, but you can still get some offense in because they've been weakened by this other monster. It sort of made it feel like a much more level playing field, and I like that.
Yeah.
We got a really cool tower spot out of it. Dude, Kong putting both Britt Baker and Kylie Ray on her shoulders was a very nice touch. And then of course Nyla Rose at the top of the spot taking the superplex, but super crazy. Dude,
pretty wild.
Kylie Ray busting out some German suplexes of her deadlift German suplexes of her own. And it's cool that she did that because
they were crisp as shit too.
Dude, during the whole match, we were just talking about how like how like fit Kylie Ray is, because she
Yeah.
posts a lot of the fitness stuff on her Instagram. She's very much into like strength training and stuff. So to see her actually do that deadlift German suplex, it's like, holy shit, that's just as impressive as Lindemann.
Yep.
Freaking crazy.
Yeah, it was a great match. It was a fantastic match. It's nice to see, and I will give respect where respect is due. Becky Lynch has done a lot. You know, Charlotte has done a lot. All the women in the Revolution have done a lot to make it where, oh, you're not watching a
Except
women's
Stephanie.
match. You're just, yeah, for sure. For sure. But they've done a lot to make it feel less like you're watching a women's match and you're just watching a wrestling match involving women. And if that makes any sense, it's just an athletic contest at that point. There's no shenanigans or anything like that around it.
There's a severe lack of pudding and bras and panties and gravy on Thanksgiving.
And just general bullshit. Like, you could tell they were there to wrestle, and it was refreshing. And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And I can't remember if it was during this match or the 6-woman tag later, but there was a chant going in the crowd that said, "This is wrestling." It wasn't women's wrestling. It was, "This is wrestling."
I'm pretty sure it was during this match.
That's, agreed, 100%.
Yep.
100% on board with that. It's fantastic. Loved it.
I think it's great. And I also definitely think, because some of the women in this match have done like intergender wrestling with like Joey Ryan and some other people. I definitely think that they could bring that to AEW and it would not be an issue at all.
You mentioned one con last night, though, and the more I thought about it after I got home, the more I have to agree. I'm pretty sad that I didn't hear I got something for you.
Oh, yeah, dude. Britt Baker, if you ever see this, please just use the theme song. Like, eventually we'll forget that it used to be Adam Cole's. It's just a great song, and it was amazing when you came out to it at All In. That's all I'm saying. But speaking of Britt Baker, she won the match. She ended up getting the pinfall on Kylie Ray. In the shuffle, Kylie Ray's bow got lost, and now it's a big thing on Twitter.
Got lost?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Britt Baker tweeted out, does anyone know the status on Kylie Ray's bow? And the comments are a lot of like, MIA, RIP, Kylie Ray's bow. So
That's great.
Sorry, Kylie. Hate to hear that. Next up on the card, we got Best Friends versus Angelico and Jack Evans. Man, I got to be honest. Like, this was one of my favorite matches of the night.
Yeah,
it is. I watched. I mentioned earlier that I watched a little bit of Ring of Honor back in the day. Jack Evans used to be a Ring of Honor wrestler. Back around the time of like Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, CM Punk. Like the ROH mainstays, Jack Evans was on there, and that's been a long time now. So to see Jack Evans come back and do the shit that he's doing, first of all, he did a hell of a spin-a-rooney in the ring, way better than anything Booker T can pull off. Sorry, Booker, nothing against you, man. But the dude is so athletic, that he really, in my eyes, carried a lot of the match.
He did. He 100% did. You hear Best Friends in a match, and you automatically expect some level of comedy. I'm glad that was kind of to a minimum.
Me too. Yeah,
I thought Jack Evans looked great. I was not a fan of Angelico though. We did talk about it last night though. Like we all kind of thought it was just a thrown together tag team. Evidently, they're a tag team on Lucha Underground.
So I knew that they had tagged before, because they talked about it a little bit.
Right.
I was just, I was more commenting on. I think maybe it's been a while since they had tagged.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what that time frame looks like. It did feel like Angelico was a little off, which is weird because I have seen Angelico wrestle as a singles wrestler.
He goes.
And he can throw down.
Yeah.
So who knows, man? I mean, it could just be jitters too. I mean, look at that. There's 20,000 people in the audience.
That's true.
That has to be the largest audience that a lot of these people have wrestled for.
That is true. Also wasn't a fan of the Budget Kane outfit though. I did not like Angelico's outfit, dude. It looked awful.
I can't think of what it looked like off the top of my head. I'll have to go back and look.
You'll understand my Budget Kane
Budget
comment.
Does it have flames on it?
I think it did.
I don't remember, but it probably did.
It
Man.
was bad.
But there was some really good stuff, dude.
Yeah.
And Helico had some nice submissions. I love when Chucky T hit the Falcon Arrow and then it got kicked out of. And the first thing Chucky T says before he even gets up was, "Nobody kicks out of the Falcon Arrow." And he has this look of surprise on his face, dude. Like it's the greatest move in the world. When in reality, everybody kicks out of the Falcon Arrow. Loved it.
Realistically, though, I love the Falcon Arrow. I wish it was a finisher.
It's a great move.
I wish it was a finisher. It looks too damn good to not be.
It looks all, and his was really good too because it was like more of like a package version of that.
Yeah.
And then shortly after, dude, Chucky T busted out the standing sliced bread on the outside. Usually that kind of thing is done with running up the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
But just busting it out, dude, is super sick.
It's pretty cool.
I am sad that the camera barely caught it.
Yeah.
They didn't even see like the setup. It's just it happened to zoom out as he was like going over. But it's all right. It is their first real pay-per-view. But that was an issue that we called out multiple times throughout the night. Is like the camera missed it.
They got the Rainmaker spot though.
Yeah, true.
They did hit that.
They hit the Okada camera when they did the hug toward the end, which is really nice. Dude, the crucifix powerbomb ace crusher combo that Best Friends did, where like Chucky T held him up in like the crucifix, and then when he like chucked him forward, caught him with like a RKO style attack, dude. That was probably
really
my
good.
favorite spot of the whole match.
It looked really good.
Holy shit!
I was happy with that match.
It kind of makes you wonder, like, how did they come up with this shit? Like, who thinks like, are they just watching old matches and they see like Razor Ramon do it and they're like, it'd be cool at the end of that, an RKO.
Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, why not? Why not?
So, one thing I add is, so I actually, talking about predictions and stuff, both Jonko and Ethan said Best Friends would win. I was trying to go for some outlier points, so I actually said Jack Evans and Angelico would win this. To the point that at one point in the match, they were doing so many false finish teases, like really well done false tease.
Yeah, they had a lot. They
But
had a lot of false finishes.
At one point, Chuck Taylor hit. I can't even remember what he did, but he's pinning, and the pin came so close. The ref actually hit the 3 as the shoulder got up, and I actually shouted in the room of all of us, "Fuck you, Chuck Taylor." Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah.
God damn it. But Best Friends won. I'm not sad that they won. I'm sad I didn't get the point.
Yeah.
And then the victory happens, and the lights go out.
Yep.
And I believe it was Ethan that recognized who they were, because I got to be honest, I had never seen them. I don't watch PWG, not because I don't want to, but because it's hard to keep up with all the wrestling and live your life also.
Yep.
But apparently it was the Super Smash Brothers. They show up. They had a bunch of goons with them as well.
Yeah, evidently that's a new thing as well. I did a little research on that today.
So that's not something
not
they
like
normally
their
do.
Normal gimmick, I don't think.
Okay, cool. Because I was curious about that. I think that is kind of if they're gonna constantly do that, where it's like that's kind of how they win, is just have other like minions show up and just kick the crap out of you. I feel like it could have limited shelf life.
Yeah. It all depends on how often you see them.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if you're only seeing them once in a blue moon, the shelf life is a lot longer.
Yeah. Or maybe even like, I don't know. It's just like you can't abuse that, or it's going to get very stale very quick. But as of right now, it was cool to see. And then at the end, I really liked the sort of imagery for the human throne that one of them sat down on. I'm assuming he's like the leader of the group.
Yeah, that was really cool.
But I thought that was really well done. Next up, we were not a fan of this match. This was Team Aja versus Team Sheeta.
Yeah, I don't like Aja Kong.
I got to be honest, I don't either. I don't like her for the same reason that I don't like Ace Romero. They're just they're slower moving wrestlers. They should rely more on power. But I don't know, even like their power moves just didn't do it for me.
All right, Aja Kong's old at this point. She's getting on up there. And the one thing I will say is that some of the younger ones, I wasn't a fan of the, for lack of better real terminology, the punk one, on the other team.
The Save the Queen one?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of her. I didn't see her do anything like that was any.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Honestly, I think the two wrestlers that came out looking the best in this match were Yuka Sakazaki and either Hikari or Hikaru Shida. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, but I feel like they both came out looking pretty solid at the end. Other than that, gotta be honest, like not a terribly fun match to watch.
It was, it was kind of boring.
To go from the Fatal 4-Way women's match that we had earlier to this, it felt like this was purposely put here to let people cool off for the very next match that was coming.
Yeah, it was definitely a change up, in my opinion.
So if that was their purpose for it, well done. But if the whole match felt so much slower than anything else that happened that night.
Plus that was a full like showcase. That was like a territory showcase. So that might just be the style. Like that might be the normal thing for them. I don't know. It's my first time ever seeing any one of them except for Aja Kong, and I already knew I didn't like Aja Kong, so
I hadn't even seen Aja Kong before. But yeah, so I don't know. Not a terrible match, just not a terribly fast match. There was the weird spot at the end where they had the false count, and the whoever was doing the timekeeping thought the match was over, so they rung the bell. But then Ref Aubrey, who I really like that they did this. It shows that they actually do care about their matches and how they finish. She like insisted. She was like, "No, that's not the end. We're gonna keep going."
Yeah.
And then they regrouped and they kept it going. And I like this because it sort of reinforces the stance that they put in before, where there's not going to be these screwy finishes on pay-per-views. Like we're going to get actual answers to who like essentially won the match. And I think that's awesome because when I first saw it, it was like, oh shit, they're already going back on this, and they chose this match to do it, which felt weird also.
Well, also the refs, like, this is gonna sound silly, but the refs did a great job, and I know that they did a great job because I didn't really notice them even being there, except when they had to be there for like, the counts and saying, "Hell no, this shit's not over." Throwing people out, stuff like that. Like it was they did a very good job of just kind of blending into the background.
I agree.
That's what you're supposed to do as a referee, is just kind of blend in and kind of be that bridge communicator.
Yeah, even Earl Hebner, who was a well-known referee, did a great job of doing that. And yeah, I think that's a really good note, is the referees are being referees and not constantly in the match. There wasn't a whole lot of like ref bumps or the ref being distracted by shit. Like there was just actual wrestling. They didn't have to do any sort of fucky finish to make sure that none of the wrestlers got damaged in the process. It was like, well, let's just have a great wrestling match and then we both come out looking better for it. What a weird fucking concept.
Right. Wild. Who knew?
After that, we get probably the best match of the night, in my opinion. Cody versus Dustin, dude.
I would give it second best match of the night, but I would agree it's up there. It's
Man.
Such a good match.
It was some asshole started cutting onions in the room toward the end of the match. That wasn't
What
really
a freaking jerk.
Yeah, that's not really cool. I'm trying to watch and all of a sudden I can't see because my eyes are watering.
With allergies already, so it's like even worse. Gosh, dude.
Oh man. But it opens up Cody comes out to his normal entrance music, and there's a throne there with an iron cross sitting on the back of it. There's skulls on sticks. This is very clearly meant to be Triple H-esque. So he like looks at it, and you think he's gonna sit on it at first, and he just kind of blows it off, walks away. But then they get to the ring, and Brandy lifts up the apron, and the first thing you see is just this big ass sledgehammer sitting under the ring. So she grabs it, she passes it off to Cody, and Cody looks at it the way that Triple H looks at his sledgehammer, which I think is a really nice touch. He actually holds it the exact same way, staring right into the profile of the head of the hammer, and then turns around and heads back up the ramp toward the throne. Got to be totally honest, dude. I thought he was going to take actual hits at the throne. I thought it was a little cheesy that it was gimmicked. But I'm assuming that's like a time thing, or just either way, it got the point across.
You also don't want one of your top guys blowing himself up before he ever gets to the ring because he's swinging at.
True, yeah, he's just fucking demolishing a rock throne with a sledgehammer. That's true. I didn't even think about that.
But speaking of shots at WWE, we didn't mention the announcement at the beginning of the show. Or was it after the Dustin match?
Oh, no. It was at the beginning.
So they came out talking about how they had 13,000 there, but they round up around here. So
yeah.
It was pretty good. You could tell they were taking little subtle shots, and I thought it was all in good fun. I didn't even think that the Triple H shot was really that big of a shot in the wrestling business.
I also didn't. It was just
I thought it was just a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge type thing.
Well, I sort of took it of more of like it was adding to the belt that he had that said Attitude Killer, the promo he cut that said he wanted to kill the Attitude Era. It was sort of him doing the same thing. Like, I'm gonna go and be better than the stars from this era of wrestling that everybody references whenever they talk about wrestling. So I took it at that. But Twitter did not.
Twitter
was like, "How dare you?" Oh my God, lost their fucking minds. Twitter, chill out. It's not that serious.
Gotta calm down sometimes, Twitter. It's not that serious. It's just wrestling.
Fanboys are like, I wish the AEW would stop taking shots at WWE. Yeah, you wish the pissant company would stop taking shots at the WWE. That's super
on
cool
the
of you.
First show.
Man, what the fuck ever. Anyway,
you want to talk about the old signage back in the day that Bischoff seemed to grab every time WCW was live that said Raw fears ratings?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Whatever,
I mean, they take shots back and forth. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all competition. It's fine.
It's
better for everybody.
And all these people who talk about how great the Monday Night Wars were are now trying to prevent Monday Night Wars by saying, hey, let's all be friendly with each other. No reason to take shots. Whatever. So, dude, then Dustin comes out, and Dustin is looking pretty fucking great. Like, I mean, he's definitely still up there in the years, but Dustin is looking in considerably great shape for his age.
I'd say he's probably in the best shape. The only time I've seen him be in better shape is right before the Goldust and Stardust story.
I got to be honest, I don't remember any of that.
And that's only because it was a few years ago, so he was in this good of a shape minus a few years.
Yeah.
So he was still looking super trim. Looked great though.
So I think one thing that kind of hinders that is like, even if he's been in a good shape before, with Goldust, it was always like full body suits. You couldn't even see his arms and stuff. And this, you could kind of make out a little bit of tone. Obviously, he's still wearing a bodysuit. Same reason that Roman Reigns wears the chest plate still. Like, he's not looking great underneath all that. And Dustin is kind of like Jericho at this age. Like, no matter how great a shape you're in, 5 minutes in, you're gonna look like somebody's stepdad because you just you blow up fast.
Elasticity.
Yeah, you expand like a balloon. There's all that hot air.
Yeah.
But dude, so he came out looking really great. They very very quickly in the match, Cody hits him with the Stardust taunt.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
doesn't he flip him off afterward? Did he flip him off afterward? Or he hit it? He did something very disrespectful. I can't completely remember.
Did he?
Yeah, but it was a very nice touch.
I'm saying I can't remember if he got flipped off.
I mean, there was a lot of people getting
Yeah,
flipped
there were
off
a lot of
during
birds.
the pay-per-view.
Birds were flying.
They made it very clear that, hey, we're allowed to flip people off, which I think was a jab that nobody's talking about at WWE, because WWE can't do that anymore.
Which bird gave you that idea?
Which bird?
Which bird that flew gave you that idea? Like I didn't catch on until about 13 in.
Yeah, from all the birds.
Yeah.
I think the first one did it for me pretty well. But so not only did Cody do it, but then later in the match, Dustin is doing the turnbuckle 10 punch. The crowd is counting. He hits number 9, and he teases like he's going to do 10, and then hits him with the Stardust taunt before hitting number 10. And I thought that was a really good exchange. They also did really nice exchanges on like the Rhodes maneuvers. So there was the they both hit the crossroads. They both did the power slam. They both did the drop down, like slap to the chin, which is one of my favorite things that they do. So I'm glad that we got to see both of them do it back and forth. But what a heartfelt match.
You know, this is my speed of wrestling. I like the spots and everything, but the storytelling in that match was so good. The last match that I've seen that has had that much storytelling in it was, incidentally, Cody and Nick Aldis.
Yes, and we actually got to be there for that
Yeah,
one. That was really nice.
But like the storytelling through, and Cody's come out and said it, like that's his thing. He likes storytelling. That's his lane. So anytime he's in the ring, he's gonna try to do everything he can to get some kind of story across. I mean, he's obviously an athlete, so he's not going to be any slouch there, but he doesn't care about the moves so much unless they mean something. And everything that was done last night had meaning behind it. I was elated. There's a big word. Elated. I was elated about it.
Dude, yeah, I was literally like, people use the phrase, I was on the edge of my seat. I was literally on the edge of my seat, sitting forward, just glued to the TV. I wanted to see what happened next. And what happened next? Segue. So the turnbuckle in the process of match ends up getting ripped off. Dustin ends up going headfirst into it. And he rolls out of the ring. He's walking off. And then Brandy with a really fucking awesome spear. Oh my God, dude. Like she's done it a couple times where I'm like, oh, well, it's a good spear, but she is getting really good at hitting that spear. And
it's because there's a steel plate in there.
Yeah, dude, the bionic shoulder. Yeah, definitely. But so she hits it. Dustin goes down. Dustin rolls under the ring, and if you look close enough during the match, you can actually see him like jerk his head. And holy shit, did he gig himself?
He got a little much.
Yeah.
But to hear it after the match, or after the show was over, they were interviewing Dustin about that, asking him what happened and whatnot. He said that Brandy also hit him with Cody's cane to sell the cut.
I did not catch that.
Yeah, evidently she hit him with the cane at some point after the spear. I don't know. I didn't see it, but
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to go back and check that shit out. That, but I mean, it makes sense because holy shit,
the shit out of
he
it,
was
though.
bleeding
It was great
everywhere.
Yeah.
Dude, the theme of the match once Justin started bleeding was sort of like, is he gonna die?
Yeah, it was very much. Oh gosh, please don't die. Please don't die, Dustin.
I've never been, and this is coming from a very real place. Like, I've never been more concerned for a wrestler on a TV screen than I was for Dustin in this match. Literally the whole time, because they kept going back to these spots where he's sitting there and he's looking down and the blood is just pouring off of his face.
And Cody continued to work the cut too.
I mean, working the cut, it's getting all over Cody. Cody's hair is turning like an orange color. Yeah. It's literally all over his body as well. And it's just everywhere. It's on the outside of the ring. It's on the inside of the ring, to the point that even after they tried to clean the ring, there's still like very obvious bloodstains going into the final 2 matches. But oh my God.
Yeah.
What a fucking crazy experience. And then to know that he's okay, obviously Cody gets the win here after the exchange of Crossroads, which, by the way, I mentioned earlier that Excalibur made a couple of weird calls. One of them was Goldust did like a rotating suplex, and he called it Crossroads, and I was like,
I can't remember.
That's not it.
I can't remember what that was called. I mean, it used to be Dustin's finisher back as Goldust like years ago.
I don't know. I don't think it was called Crossroads though. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it may have been called Crossroads.
But it would be called because
I mean,
all of his other moves were Goldust inspired, like the curtain call and all.
So the Crossroads itself is really just that without the lift, right? So I don't know, dude.
No.
I don't know.
So they land the other way though.
I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I watched Attitude Era Goldust. So
True.
I can't remember that shit.
But anyway, Dustin does hit him with an actual Crossroads.
Yeah.
And they kind of go back and forth with that move, but Cody ends up hitting a second Crossroads, does get the pin on him. And afterwards, we get a very heartfelt moment. Cody cuts a promo about how he signed for a tag match at Fyter Fest. And his partner can be anyone of his choosing. But he goes on to say, I don't need a partner. I don't need a friend. I need my brother. And oh, fuck, I fucked that up. At the start, he actually says, you don't get to go and retire.
Yeah, he's untying his boots.
Because, it feels that way. Like, he's undoing his boots in the ring. He's sitting in the corner.
He's getting thank you, Dustin chants.
This is very much like a retirement angle that we've seen multiple times. And it's what an incredible thing that they were able to recreate that and get the audience involved in it so that it feels more like a retirement angle. And then for him to say, no, you don't get to go retire. But then he's like, I want you to be my partner. They agree. They walk out together. Dustin is bawling. Cody is very much tearing up and starting to cry as well. Beautiful moment. Fucking love wrestling.
Yep.
One more thing I want to add. At one point, while Dustin is pouring blood down his face, Cody pulls off his belt to attempt to hit Dustin with it. Dustin puts him in the corner, pulls his pants down, and whoops his brother on the bare ass. Which I only thought about it because I said, fuck, I love wrestling. But that is another moment where I was like, I fucking love wrestling.
Can't see that anywhere else. Ooh, buddy.
Yeah, that's not something you're gonna get anywhere else. But after that, we got the freaking belt reveal. Yeah. Which ended up being a lot more than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, it really was. Like, so that guy that was announcing, evidently he's a British comedian.
He's like a British comedian / movie star. Yeah,
very well known.
Yeah, not to me.
Yeah, I didn't know either. But so it was kind of cool that they got him to announce it.
Yeah, I agree.
Bret Hart, which Bret Hart looked. Bret Hart was sounding a little off.
Yeah, I mean, but he even made the comment like, it's been a while since I've done this, and it has. Like, he doesn't wrestle anymore. He really doesn't like do any sort of in-ring roles whatsoever.
No, I get that.
But it was a good touch, and it was really nice to see him not like hobbling to the ring. He's come a long way in his recovery since having the stroke and beating cancer and all these things. So he actually looked fairly healthy, much like JR. It was good to see him in a much better place on this show.
You know, it was even better to see MJF tearing into his ass. God, that promo was good.
Oh my God. Yeah, he said, because when I win, you'll realize that I'm the best there is, the best there ever was, and the best there ever will. And he said, no, you know what? I take it back. That catchphrase sucks.
Yeah, he also made a joke about the fan running into the ring.
Oh, yeah. Look out, Brett. You're about to be attacked.
It was good, man. It was really good.
MJF is what's going to save wrestling, guys.
Yeah.
It's Very real. Brett calls out Hangman Page to help deliver, to show off the belt because he's going to be part of the match. We don't yet know who's going to be part or the other part of the match, at least this far in the show. But we do know it's going to be the winner of Omega versus Jericho.
Yeah.
So they call him out. He's, he comes out. He is still hobbling, but he's a fucking playing good guy in his very dope shirt that I want to get.
Yeah,
very
it's a
soon.
really good looking
that
shirt.
Ecstasy of Gold shirt.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's when MJF comes out, starts cutting down everybody in the ring. And as he, when Paige goes to try to hit him, he drops down. He tries to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the Jungle Boy music.
Mm-hmm.
Jungle Boy comes out. Or no. There
Jungle
wasn't
Boy was
Jungle
out
Boy,
first.
but it wasn't music, right? He just came out.
I think he just came out, yeah.
So Jungle Boy just comes out, walks up behind him, and MJF does not look scared at all of Jungle Boy. Sort of, just you're not on my level.
Mm-hmm.
But then, fucking Jimmy Havoc.
Then Jimmy Havoc comes out.
His music does hit.
Looking straight out
And
of an
he comes
AFI
out-
video.
Yeah, dude, comes out with the face mask and the coat.
Mm-hmm.
Also very Marty Skrull-ish. I was thinking when they came out, I was like, that would actually be kind of a cool tag team.
Yeah, it could work. It could definitely work. I could see it. Yeah, I just don't. The only thing that scares me on that is the idea that would possibly even remotely push Marty Skrull down the deathmatch guy road. I don't think he.
Yeah,
really
I don't know
belongs
that he would do that though. Like, because it's not like they're gonna force him to do death matches.
He would do it.
But I think it would be cool to see them as a tag, just because their aesthetic is very similar.
Yeah.
Or even like see them wrestle each other.
Mm-hmm.
In very similar aesthetics, I think would be kind of a cool thing.
I could see that happening very easily.
But
They'd probably have a really good feud.
yeah, but that was just something that popped up in my head. So then we get a nice little ass kicking for MJF,
Mm-hmm.
which is like I think it just makes him look more like a star, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
The only note I have here is Bret Hart shows the belt, Hangman Page out, MJF is a genius promo. That's it. And then in another instance where they had kind of a snafu on the camera, they focused so heavily on what's going on outside of the ring. At some point, I guess Bret Hart pulled the title out of the bag before while everything's still going on, he didn't realize the camera's not on him.
Mm-hmm.
So they cut back, and Bret Hart is holding up the belt, but they're showing the side of Bret Hart, so you're only seeing the side of the belt.
Mm-hmm.
And they only just barely catch the belt itself before they kind of cut off and go back to the announcers to get ready for the next match.
Yeah, but what a beautiful belt.
Yes.
A damn good looking belt.
One of our best tweets last night was we noted that the belt looked very New Japan inspired, with like the way that the outside trim is. But I think that's a good call because New Japan's belt is probably the most prestigious looking title belt that there is in wrestling right now.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
Well, you know what that does, right? Like having it be like this little that allows a smaller person to wear it and not all crazy.
Yeah, it's still like
takes that whole
sort of form-fits.
250 up to hold the world title. It kind of takes that stigma off of it.
But didn't you know this is actually professional wrestling? All you have to do is be like 200 pounds, and then when you get in the ring, all of a sudden you're 250. The ring has different gravity; it pulls you down, so you weigh differently.
I got you. I got you.
That's good science.
That's why 280-pound people actually weigh like 400.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Okay.
And then Crash Holly was, like 6'7", 470 pounds.
I mean, that's because that's Crash Holly. He's a golden god.
He's the super heavyweight.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Crash Holly.
Technical difficulties. They're always the best, right?
Hell yeah. So great. Super awesome. It's not a podcast if something doesn't just completely fuck up and make you have to start over.
Facts.
So here we are back at the Battle Royal. Just kidding. Young Bucks versus Lucha Brothers.
Yes. Match of the night.
Match of the
IMO.
night. I definitely I can definitely agree with that. I thought Cody and Dustin was better, but I can understand why someone would say otherwise for really any of the last three matches.
So I did say that that's my shit. The storytelling is my jam. But if you've followed the rivalry between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers, they also told a fantastic story in that match. So, I mean, I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad at all. It was great. It was the best. So much action. So much action.
So we all chose Lucha Brothers for this match.
Yep.
In fact, by this point in the night, we already knew that Jonko was going to be our punishment loser because we all chose Lucha Brothers for this match, and we all chose Jericho for the last match. So we went into this match. We didn't have to worry about like the competition aspect anymore. At this point, we're purely spectators. And holy shit, was there a sight to spectate? First of all, the ring attire for both teams, fucking on point.
Yeah.
Really liked the Elvis thing that Young Bucks had going on, and then Lucha Brothers came out in almost this like Division II Hunter / Army of Two style masks that went on over their other masks. You know, something similar to what we've seen Rey Mysterio do in the past. We've seen other luchas do it. But they come out in like these skull masks that look fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Part of me was like, they're gonna wrestle in these, okay.
Yeah.
But then you catch like the side of Penta's head when they were coming to the ring, and you could see his mask underneath. I was a little bummed about that, but not like, well, this match sucks now. Bummed. Just I thought it would have been cool.
It would have been pretty neat. Is Mike gonna stay there? Mike's gonna stay there.
You got this, dude. I fully believe in you.
We got it. We're good. Yeah. So I thought that there was a chance that they would wrestle in them, but it didn't bother me either way. That would have been cool. I definitely didn't see the Hunter reference, but I can totally see it now that you say something about it. I can definitely see that. I like that way better than Army too, because that game was trash.
Almost like a full-fledged like a motorcycle helmet with a face instead of glass. Either way, super cool. Once the match actually started going, I feel like they just kind of if the wrestling match was a car, they just slammed their fucking foot down on the pedal and just held it there. They were like, well, if other cars, we'll just try to get around them. Otherwise, we'll all just die together.
Autobahn style.
It was fucking non-stop. It was total non-stop action.
Yeah.
One could even say that there was a real impact made by the.
Oh God.
So I do have a lot of notes as far as like the wrestling match goes here. There was the really pretty close to the start of the match.
Yeah.
There was a really nice dodge exchange by Phoenix and Nick Jackson on the outside. And then at the end there was kind of the standoff, which is so like almost like foretelling of how the rest of the match is going to go, because they were like, hey, let's do this cool acrobatic shit. And then they were like, all right, that was really good. Let's do all the acrobatic shit. Let's just keep doing it. And holy shit, dude. One of the probably my favorite spot of the entire night came from this match. We rewatched the clip a couple of times earlier before we started recording. But Phoenix, and I'm going to do my best to even like talk about this because there's just so much going on at once. So Phoenix is wrestling Matt, and Nick is on the apron. Phoenix gets put up on the turnbuckle, and when he's get put up on the turnbuckle, he like, I feel like I'm gonna fuck this up. He like does a quick kick to Nick to like hang him up on the ropes, and then starts to do an arm drag, like a top rope, like almost Undertaker style, like walk the ropes arm drag with Matt, but jumps over and hits a Hurricane Rana on Nick. And when he does that, he does the sort of the arm drag to Matt, rolls across or flies across the ring when he does it. Matt tries to run up on him, hits a clothesline or tries to hit a clothesline. He rolls underneath him, then rolls back, jumps up, hits him with an RKO/Ace Crusher.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all in the span of about 5 seconds.
Yeah. It was impressive. It was everything you could ask for out of a Bucks Lucha Bros match. I mean, so there was you mentioned it, and I thought it was a little weird as well. The Bucks have been teasing this new move, and then they do the new move, and nothing is said about it. But I feel like that kind of goes back to the commentary booth not really being in their lane.
So it goes to the commentary booth, but also to like the producers, the backstage people,
making sure that they know about it
because they hyped it up so heavily.
Mm-hmm.
At the start of the match, like the Bucks have been teasing this new finisher or this new double team move. Let's see if we get to see it tonight. And then it happens, and there was no response to the point that we were all just like, "Is that not it?"
Yeah.
We didn't realize that was it until the end of the match when it was just like, "Oh, that had to be it." They didn't do anything else.
Yep.
But there was no like, "Oh, they call that oh, there it is." And it was a really cool move.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a sliced bread / power bomb.
Yeah. Really, really cool looking.
It was awesome, but there was nothing. It was silence from the announcers, which sort of made that feel dead.
Yeah.
The only other complaint that I have with the match, and this is minimal. This is just it sort of felt like they could have gone literally anywhere else, and it would have been a little more original. But there was a lot of working of Matt's back, which has been something they've done in like all their tag matches for a little while now. I understand that Matt has had actual back injuries in the past, but at some point, like I feel like you gotta work something else. You gotta, or maybe don't work. Maybe don't make Matt the one that's being worked. Make Nick the one that's being worked, and then Matt has to come back in. But it just, I don't know. It's like we've seen this 1,000 times now.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of bummed me out. But everything else in the match was incredible. At one point, Nick Jackson hits Phoenix with an X Factor, and Phoenix, to sell this thing, just throws his fucking face into the mat.
Yeah.
And one of those things where
you're
where you're just watching and you're like, oh, like it
looks like the most violent thing ever.
Yeah, like
he looked dead.
My face fucking hurt watching it. Just like, oh God. Matt with a really, really sick triple Northern Lights suplex.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really nice touch.
Yeah.
And then Matt Jackson doing the press slam, actually physically lifting Phoenix all the way up, and it looked easy for him, which I thought was really crazy. Like, I think it's pretty fair to say, just by physical appearance, like Matt is the stronger, like physically stronger of the two. But I guess you don't realize like how strong he is because they both do. They're doing the flip-de-doos
too much.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing to a power move you really see out of them.
Dude, that is like the power move. You are physically holding another person over your head. But yeah, he just did it so easily, so that was super cool. And then they also did a really nice double sharpshooter spot, which I thought was a good touch. That's the cease and desist. So,
yeah. It's what came out around the time that they were talking about how they got banned from doing the too sweet.
Yeah,
they decided to flip it and make it a submission finisher.
Super nice.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then of course, to our surprise, Young Bucks win.
Yeah.
Crap. Did not see that coming.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. They do have time before October when their TV deal for AEW starts, to go and maybe work. Maybe not even just one. Maybe they work, multiple AAA tapings.
And it gives the Lucha Bros reasons to show up at other places if Jacksons are there too.
That's very true.
Like if they're just at some random, doubt it would be MLW, but like something like that, or just any of the little indies that they've been working in between or building up to this show. Because I would assume that going up to Fyter Fest they're going to be doing similar stuff, showing up at the little indie shows, pro
I
wrestling
would not be
from
surprised.
Hollywood, and the one in Georgia. Can't even remember what it's called. It's a newer one, but yeah, it gives them reason to follow each other around for a little while.
Yeah, I
'Cause
definitely
I'm
agree
sure
with
we're getting a rematch.
that.
Well,
not only that, but
not
it's
at
like
Fighter, but
they have a partnership with AAA now.
Mhm.
Like it's sort of a show of good faith. Like, hey, we're going to show up on your TV too, because AAA does have they're huge down in Mexico.
Yeah.
So for the Young Bucks to show up and sort of show off this style for their show, it's a really good cross promotion, especially with them being the champs. So I get why they did it. It just surprised me. I don't know. I just thought they were going to go the other way with it, and then maybe promote AEW and AAA some other way. But
hey,
super fucking
works
cool.
though.
Great match, and I got to be honest, I would not be pissed to see another rematch of that.
Yeah,
I'd be cool with that.
I don't expect to see it at. Well, I mean, obviously, Fighter Fest is going to be the Bucks versus
Cody and Dustin.
Cody and Dustin, but maybe at Fight for the Fallen. I don't think that they would do it again that quickly. I would be more expecting to see it on a AAA show.
I definitely think it's going to be on a AAA show, because that would be when we actually see the Lucha Brothers get the AAA titles back.
Yeah.
A sad note for that match that we found out today. The Lucha Brothers had to back out of an engagement that they had for tonight, because they both suffered some kind of injury in the match at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any specifics released on that yet, but still sucks to hear. Hopefully you guys get better soon, because fucking tore it down. You killed it.
Destroyed it.
Then, last but definitely not least, we get Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. Jericho, during his match, or during his entrance rather, had really nice sort of a montage of his own career, which I thought was a really cool idea. He had at first the lights came on, and you see like the lion heart on the back, and it's very reminiscent of like late WCW Jericho, early WWF Jericho. And then the lights go off again. It comes back up, and there's a guy standing there with the list of Jericho. And then the lights go off again. Lights come back up. Or actually, before the lights come back up, you see the light up jacket turn on. Yep. And you can tell the person is posing, doing the T-pose there. And then the lights finally come back on, and Jericho's music hits, and we get the actual Chris Jericho coming out. I'll be totally honest. I feel like Jericho's newest persona, like the actual attire, doesn't really do it for me.
Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts here. First off, I'm gonna say Cody actually came up with that entrance. Fun fact.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good call.
That's Cody's thing.
That was a great idea.
But I don't mind, I don't mind the persona. I don't mind the outfit. I don't mind the music. I think it's just branded incorrectly, if that makes sense. Because when you say things like the graphics were like, "Am I evil? Yes, I am." Da 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 da. I would expect that more from someone coming out looking like Pentagon than I would Jericho.
It
doesn't
felt very Japan to me, which is good over there.
It felt
but
very
we're in the
Avenged.
US.
It felt very Avenged Sevenfold to me. It kind of felt, and that's not a knock against Avenged Sevenfold necessarily, but it's got that kind of hokey, generic metal guy vibe, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
I mean, he sort of is
Kind of
like
bored me.
The generic metal guy.
Yeah, it looked like he was coming out for a Fozzy concert.
Yeah, the hat is awkward. Like I don't know. I don't want to get.
He had been doing shows with face paint to go along with it, and I feel like that would have done some good.
I think even the face paint is weird to me. Like the
goofy,
lines coming out of his eyes. He reminds me of Buggy from One Piece. For any of you guys who watch One Piece, like, I don't know. He's almost like Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown. Yeah, minus all the hard drugs. But entrance aside, he's in the ring. Kenny Omega comes out to a very nice pop himself.
No entrance for him as well.
Wearing, yes, yeah, and I really liked that the pyros went off when he did the gun.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really nice touch. He's also wearing something that's clearly anime or video game inspired. At first we thought it was Sephiroth, but he had it had a star on the side, so I'm not sure where that's from.
I think it was a hodgepodge because he even had the one wing, which is why I was like, it looks kind of Sephiroth. Plus, I'm kind of playing through Final Fantasy VII right now.
So I at first, when he first came out, at first I thought it was Sword Art Online, Kirito.
It does kind of look Kirito-esque.
I was like, that is dated.
Actually, fun fact, they just released a new video game Friday. On the Switch.
No, that's a re-release.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a re-release.
Don't care. Still just released. Still makes it relevant. I don't give a shit.
But so I'm not totally sure what it's from. It's very much Kenny Omega though, which I liked.
Yeah.
He had his Razor inspired gear on, which is dope. He actually has like a sponsorship with Razor.
Mm-hmm.
So to do that, I think is super cool. I love that video game companies
wasn't it
sponsor
All In
pro
where
wrestlers.
it was like full black and green. Like
Yes, yeah, I'm pretty sure he had the straight up. It was basically the same gear.
Yeah,
just straight up black and green. So as far as the match goes, I thought the match was pretty solid. Not as good as either of the previous two matches, in my opinion.
Yeah, this match was for people tuning in for the first time. It was easily digestible. It wasn't anything really wild, over the top, anything like that. There were a lot of callbacks for people who had seen them wrestle before and were familiar with like their stories and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they were subtle, like the table stomp thing that Omega hit.
I thought the table stomp was a really nice touch.
Like that goes back to what him and Okada, one of their matches. But like there were a few callbacks, but overall, it was a good match. It was a very good match. You put it on any other show, and it was probably match of the night. But on this show, like maybe it was exhaustion, maybe it was like a little bit of fan exhaustion from seeing so much craziness going on. The match was good, but I could have done without it. And I hate to say that about an Omega match.
Yeah. I feel like we kind of got cheated out of the match we were actually supposed to see.
Very true.
Very early in, Kenny's nose got busted.
Very true.
And if you've ever had to do any sort of activity with a nosebleed, it makes it super hard to breathe.
Yeah.
I actually I've been there, not in a wrestling match. I'm not fucking athletic. But I've had to try to do things with a bloody nose, and it basically, you clog this. At that point, you're fucking mouth breathing. It's so much harder to get oxygen to your body the way that you need. So I feel like Kenny was sort of like a horse with a limp, so to speak, through the whole match.
Mm-hmm.
We did
explain a lot.
We did get some cool spots, some really nice like visuals. Right off the bat, they started lighting each other up with chops to the point that Jericho's chest was just blood freaking red the entire match, which I thought was nice. You mentioned the table stomp on the ankle, which I don't know how it looked in person, but it came across really well on TV.
Yeah, it did.
Because you saw them do it, and you're like, clearly he's fine, but that could have snapped his fucking ankle.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that came across the way that it did. At one point, Kenny hit the really nice V-trigger. Jericho's face was like buried in the turnbuckle, and Kenny just fucking let him have it, dude. To the point that I almost thought that we might see like a nosebleed from him as well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the path that they planned on going down. We got Kenny through the table, which wasn't a crazy spot. It was just like, hey, we've got this table, let's break it. So it was just like a back body drop over the ropes, which I thought kind of played out in a funny way later on, but we'll get into that. the code breaker from the top rope or from
Mm.
midair was really good.
Yeah, that was clean.
I thought that should have been the finish right then. But not only did we get the code breaker, but we got a slight tease for a lion tamer, not a Walls of Jericho, which I'll be totally honest, I was really bummed about the finish of this match.
Yeah.
I think if Jericho was going to beat Kenny, should have done it with that right there. He should have done the lion tamer, should have tapped out, and then I think going forward, we should see Jericho putting people back in the lion tamer and not the Walls of Jericho.
I think you will. I think that's going to become a thing again. Back when it was the lion tamer, and he realized that people couldn't really work around it, and he started doing just the regular full crab or the walls. He would still lock it in as the lion tamer when, this is the end of the match, knee in the back.
Yeah,
and I'd like to see him start going back to that. He was another one that had the new move tease thing, spinning elbow, but okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like sitting here thinking now, I feel like us not getting the match that we probably were supposed to get ties into that finish being just kind of meh. Because I feel like there were pieces that were supposed to be in place there that would have made that look a lot better. And the long and the short of it is that move, I feel like maybe Kenny should have been in the middle of just beating him up and then bam.
Yeah.
If that's the move you're going to use as your finisher, like kind of like, what is it, the AJ Styles spot where he's like slap, spin, elbow, kick, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Just have Jericho just turn around, throw the crap out of it.
Instead, what we got was like this. Jericho was like on a knee, and he just like stood up real quick, almost like in a stumble, just like turned around and hit him with it.
Mm-hmm.
It did not come across as effective at all. I know that's what they wanted. I agree that it should have been.
Omega sold the shit out of it.
It should have been an out of nowhere thing.
Yeah.
Omega should have been like slapping him or about to hit a fucking V trigger, doing some kind of pose, and then Jericho just bust him with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like that would have been so much more effective. But instead, what we got was this weird like stumble forward. I elbowed you. You pretend to be knocked out, and then I pin you.
Jericho was dead. Omega was dead.
Yeah,
like, he played it. He sold the crap out of it. Kudos to him.
I don't know.
At least the match was over at that point.
Yeah, I didn't hate the match. I enjoyed the match, and I feel like
I thought it was good. I just didn't think it on that card it was anything.
I feel like if the finish had been better, we would be talking about this match in a completely different.
I mean, it's your last. It's the last thing you remember of a match, and when that finish is trash, that's why I hate all the screwy finishes. That's the last thing you remember.
Yeah, it
kind of sours
really
the whole
dampens everything
experience.
else. And not only that, I think it didn't help that the last time that we saw Omega and Jericho go at it, the match was so much crazier. Like they tore down the house. It was match of the night. To the point that like the Naito Okada match afterward feels weak.
Yeah.
Which it's not by any means. If you watch it standalone, that match is incredible. But going on after Jericho and Omega, it's hard to top that.
That was a show stealer. 100%.
So for them to do this this straight up wrestling version of the match after,
but let me throw you a curveball. If you take Dustin versus Cody off the card, how does that match feel? By the same merit.
I still think the finish fucks it.
I still think the finish fucks it, but how much better does it feel?
I'm sure it would be a lot easier to watch. Or even if they had done the like Cody Dustin, Young Bucks, Lucha Bros, then Aja Kong's team versus. I think after having the cooldown period there going into the main event, I think you could have had something that was a lot more well received.
I think maybe do the belt thing right there.
Yeah, that's true. You could do it right before because
you don't want people turning off the TV. You just want them taking a break.
You could have even done like Jericho as they're cleaning up. Bret Hart's the last to leave with the belt. Jericho makes his entrance, crosses Bret Hart, and gets his eye. We can visibly see that on TV. I feel like there's a lot of things that could have been done to make the match feel more important than it did.
Yeah.
Still a good match. Don't want to sell it short. I just wish it had ended some other way. But the ending that really fucking mattered. We get Jericho on the mic after he beats Omega. He's talking about how great he is, how now that he's the winner, now that he's going on to fight for the world title, they have this great TNT deal. All these things are going on, and it's all thanks to Chris Jericho. And so he's going to sit here, and he's going to get the thank you that he deserves.
Waits on it.
And he's waiting on it. And then all of a sudden, the crowd goes nuts. The very last possible moment, Jon Moxley shows up and not in the Impact Zone as somebody with a shitty name.
Yep.
So he hops the rail coming into the ring. He had like the weird, it was like spray painted almost like Mox on his jacket.
Yeah.
I actually really like that for him.
Yeah.
Nobody else could have done that.
No.
But he pulls it off.
It reminds me of Sanity.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a
I
one-man
actually agree with
Sanity.
that.
I think it fits him 100%.
Even he has like the military ranks and the
Yep.
patches and stuff on his pants.
Yep.
I feel like that 100% fits with Sanity as well.
Oh gosh, that makes me feel better about that match. 100%.
I agree. It was a really nice way, and who knows? Maybe that's why they didn't do this insane match, so that
Probably.
there was still energy left for this return.
Probably so.
But Jon Moxley comes in the ring. You see Jericho mouth the words. There's no microphone anymore, so you can't hear him. But you see him mouth the words, "You're not supposed to be here."
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really cool touch as well. Almost like an outsider's moment. Then Jon Moxley drops him with what was formerly known as Dirty Deeds. I hope they're just going to call it a double arm DDT because, homie, that's what it is.
Yeah. We don't need hokey names outside of the hokey company.
I agree. And then, for the first time the entire night, take that WWE, we get a ref bump because Jon Moxley also hits the ref with the double arm DDT.
Yup. It's good. It was a good moment, man. It was a really good moment. Then goes for Omega, and then you get a brawl.
Yes, Omega
Get a
pushes
fight.
off. They go through. And that's what I was mentioning earlier. We get a kind of funny moment with the table again because they actually flip over the ring and land right where the table is already broken.
Yep.
And they just like land right in it like it's a seat. And I don't know if anybody literally put any other thought into it, but when I was watching, I was just like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it ended up just working out that way, but it's definitely a cool touch at the end of it all. Like you get them fighting in the crowd. Took them till the end of the show to do that. That was crazy.
Yeah. Well,
weird,
no.
right?
We had the spot at the beginning of the Jericho match where Jericho had the camera, but it was like right there on the other side of the barricade.
Yeah, it was like right at the barricade. I mean, you had the spot where who was it? Guevara tried to do the moonsault off of the barrier.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, I mean, that was a thing, but in the crowd.
Yeah, actually fighting in the crowd. They fight all the way back to the stage.
You know, on that Raw episode that I get to watch, I guarantee you it's like by like the third match, they're in the crowd.
Oh, dude, everyone's going in the crowd. Everyone. No clean finishes. Brock Lesnar wins everything.
Yeah.
You're so lucky.
Oh, I'm so stoked, man. I'm so excited. But yeah, man, like that was great. And then you get the wonderful visual of Moxley hitting the double arm DDT on top of all the poker chips.
Yes.
And then doing DVD
like a Death Valley Driver
or
type move.
Fireman's Carry AA type thing of Omega off of the poker chips and onto some what looked like plexiglass or something down below.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure what that was. I don't know if that's where they were
part of the like the set or something.
It just looks so weird.
But you know why it didn't? You know why it looks so weird is sparks didn't shoot off everywhere after.
Yeah, you're right. Whatever. Oh my god. You know what that might have been? It could have just been like a big light panel.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah. But
probably exactly what it was.
Either way, looked great. Omega's left laying. Show goes off the air with Dean Ambrose flipping off the entire crowd.
Whoa. That's not Dean Ambrose, homie.
John Moxley. With Gene Moxbros flipping off the entire crowd.
Yeah.
What a fucking way to end a show. Your first ever show. You have a killer card. And they didn't overdo it with the reveals. They did really good. They had one big women's reveal in Awesome Kong, which was never teased. So holy shit, they kept that news so well under wraps. Like there was no tweets or like nowhere in wrestling news was it like Awesome Kong is in Las Vegas this weekend. Like nobody talked about the potential for her to show up on Double or Nothing. So for it to happen was really cool.
As silly as it sounds, I think that's one of those things where we may have just not known that we even wanted it. Like that's something that
I didn't.
People probably saw Awesome Kong walking around and they were just like, oh yeah, she's here for StarCast. Probably, who cares?
That's true because she is a Netflix star now. You know, she's on Glow, so if she could have been there and nobody thought a thing about it because she's there to promote other stuff. But when she showed up in her ring gear, dude,
and looked like a fucking beast.
I loved it. And then, of course, we got Moxley at the end, who absolutely cleaned house. And one of my favorite things about it is there was no mention of, like, they made him look like a star without being like, Moxley's challenging for the title.
Well, it's instantly something to do with Omega away from the title.
Yeah.
Which is really good for both of them.
So, I don't know if you saw, but they actually announced after the show that Moxley's first fighting appearance will be at Fyter Fest. He doesn't currently have an opponent, but I can't. So actually, now that I think about it, I think Omega is fighting SEMA at Fyter Fest, or is that Fight for the Fallen?
I can't remember.
Let's hope it's Fight for the Fallen because that means that we can get Omega Moxley at Fyter Fest.
What if it's another big reveal?
And then we'll have to fucking buy Fyter Fest.
I mean, I'm buying Fyter Fest anyway, so
yeah. I mean, it could be a big reveal, and I wouldn't be against that. But I do want to see some kind of continuation of this feud if they're not going to straight out do the match.
100%.
But man, the direction of AEW, like, I'm very excited. And not only that, but I'm excited to see where other wrestling companies go because now they have, more competition. There's more people out there putting out huge products. So WWE either has to step up their shit or just get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, and so there are a few things at play. Like, I'm very interested to watch Raw tomorrow night because
don't be. You're not going to enjoy it.
Well, I've got to review it and be stoked about it, so I'm terribly excited.
Well, I need you to not actually enjoy it because then it's not a punishment.
Oh, buddy, I'm gonna love it. But I'm interested to see what they do because there's all those notes out there saying that Fox wants a more serious product. Fox wants to get away from the the TV PG. They want to up the ante a little bit, and they want pretty. From what I took away from it, what we saw last night is what they want, and I'm curious to see how that looks through a WWE lens now, especially since seeing AEW, because you know that someone was on the phone saying, "Yeah, we want that. We want what we saw last night in your ring." And they're gonna have to make that happen. How do they make that happen? They're gonna have to shift people around.
Honestly, I don't know that they can, just because even though a network wants one thing, their sponsor money is what really counts. And we've already seen with superstars who do edgier things. I don't even want to say edgy because let's be honest, superstars who do shitty things, they've already threatened to pull out because of these things. So maybe they're not. Maybe they're sponsoring WWE because it is a family product. So if that's the case, then WWE has a much bigger issue on their hands. They have to find new sponsors. They have to find sponsors that will work with what the networks want and still give them the money that they're getting. And that may not be an easy thing to do with the ratings being low. But the ratings are low.
Yeah.
So they still
it's
have...
It's almost like they should change it up anyway.
The thing is, like... Wrestling, WWE is not a wrestling company anymore. They're a fucking company that happens to do wrestling
That's true.
on the side, but most of
It's
their
an
money comes
entertainment
through
company.
all the other things they do. You know, the Be a Star program, through the Susan G. Komen stuff. They're almost like a charity organization that's not for profit, because they are very much in it for themselves. But if they are going to change some of that stuff up, if they're going to have a more edgier product, you probably aren't invited anymore to do the fucking Be a Star stuff, because you've got people doing bully shit on there. You're probably less invited. I wouldn't say not invited to the Susan G. Komen stuff, but they all have their personal images to focus on as well, and WWE shifted to PG for that reason.
I think that it's possible to get a serious product without going off the deep end with like the blood and guts and stuff. You need it to an extent, but they already do it to an extent. Like Orton getting busted open hard way, and like I mean, we've seen people bleed as of late. It's not been an issue really, but you need to just take the product seriously to deliver quality.
Vince McMahon needs to go away.
That's true.
That's really what it comes down to. But I'm going to stop us here. We are actually at an hour and 45 minutes, which is a very long podcast.
Yeah, true.
We appreciate you guys sticking around. This was their first ever show, so our format going forward is not going to be nearly this long, but we wanted to make sure we talked about everything, because this
big show
is a fucking game changer. Like, this is what we've all, as wrestling fans, whether you know it or not, whether you're on the AEW bandwagon or whether you're still against it, this is what you needed to have a better wrestling product overall. But anyway, it's been fun. For Smart Week, I'm Chase.
And I'm Jonko.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.